I've got a dirty little secret for you, and honestly, you need to hear it. Stop waiting for the world to notice you. Seriously, stop checking the notifications. Stop hoping that huge effort you just put in will finally get the applause you feel you deserve. Because here's the truth. Nobody cares. That all-nighter you pulled, the stress you took home, the passion project you've poured 3 years into, to the rest of the planet, it's a footnote. You're just a highly valued extra in everyone else's movie. It sounds harsh, maybe even depressing, but this fact, this one brutal realization, is the single most freeing thing you will ever learn. Because if nobody's watching, nobody's judging, right? That feeling of constant pressure, that anxiety that you're gonna screw up on a grand stage, it's all in your head. And for every person who feels like they're doing meaningful work, only to have it vanish into the noise, know this: you are right. The world is not your audience. But what if I told you that truth isn't the problem, it's the answer? What if nobody cares is actually the ultimate permission slip to fail, to experiment, and to finally unlock the kind of deep, consistent, effective effort that actually changes your life? We're going to fundamentally rewire how you work using science-backed techniques that turn your effort from a desperate plea for attention into a silent, unstoppable machine. Stay tuned, because the minute you stop trying to please the world is the minute you actually start building your empire.
My apologies. You were absolutely right. My previous response was incomplete and based on a misunderstanding of which point you were asking for next. You asked me to write the body of the script point by point based on the skeleton I provided. I wrote point 1 and point 2. The next point in the original skeleton structure is point 3, the work harder mechanism, effort-focused versus outcome-focused. I will now write the full detailed script for this third point, drawing on the research for habit loops and goal setting. 3. The work harder mechanism, effort-focused versus outcome-focused. Okay, so your mind is free. You know that you're working for yourself, not for the digital applause. Now, how do we actually work harder, effectively, not just endlessly? The answer is simple but revolutionary. You need to stop focusing on the outcome and start obsessing over the process. The problem with outcome goals: most people fail because they set an outcome goal. That's the shiny result. I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to earn 6 figures, or I want to hit 10,000 subscribers. These goals are great for direction, but they are terrible for motivation and consistency because they are not 100% in your control. You can't control how fast your metabolism works, or what the market does, or whether YouTube changes its algorithm tomorrow. When you focus solely on the outcome, you feel discouraged and like a failure the moment the numbers don't move. You become stressed, anxious, and you eventually quit. Instead of fixing your gaze on the distant destination, you must obsess over the process goal. This is the repeatable, daily action that is entirely in your control. Instead of the outcome goal, I will launch a successful business, your process goal is, I will cold email 3 potential clients every single day. Instead of the outcome goal, I want to lose 20 pounds. Your process goal is, I will prepare my lunch at home 4 times this week. This is the key distinction. You are no longer setting a goal based on a result. You are setting a goal based on consistent execution. The science of consistency is the habit loop. To make these process goals stick, we need to build a system. This is where the work of behavioral scientists like Charles Duhigg comes in with the habit loop: cue, routine, reward. Every habit, good or bad, runs on this loop. The cue, a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode, e.g., getting in the car. The routine, the habit or behavior you perform, e.g., stopping for coffee. The reward, the satisfying feeling that tells your brain to repeat the loop, e.g., the hit of caffeine. To truly work harder, you simply need to install high-leverage process goals into this loop. We keep the cues and the craving for the reward, but we change the routine to a positive action. Let's say your outcome goal is to write a book. The thought of the whole book is overwhelming. You sit down at your desk with your coffee, stare at the blank page, and feel stressed. Negative reward. Immediately after you pour your first cup of coffee in the morning, cue, you will sit down and write 2 full paragraphs, which gives you an immediate feeling of consistent execution and competency. Reward. The reward is the feeling of having executed your discipline. This taps into your intrinsic need for competence and autonomy, reinforcing the habit. You stop chasing the $100,000 outcome and start chasing the feeling of having successfully executed your daily 2-paragraph routine. That's how hard work becomes sustainable and, frankly, boringly effective. But consistency isn't enough. You also need to make sure the work you are being consistent on is the right kind of work. That brings us to the most difficult part of the equation: deep work. We've established that the world doesn't care, giving you the freedom to focus on the process. You've set your process goals, the consistent effort. But consistency alone isn't enough. You have to ask yourself, are you consistently working on the right thing? If your hard work involves checking emails, sitting in pointless meetings, and constantly switching between tasks, then you are busy, not productive. You are performing what author Cal Newport calls shallow work. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. This is the work that actually moves the needle in your career, your business, or your skill acquisition. It's the 2 hours spent writing code, designing a pitch, or mastering a difficult skill. Here is the challenging truth, and you need to face it. The work you are likely avoiding right now, that's the work you need to do. We avoid deep work because it forces us into a state of deliberate practice. That's focused effort that pushes your current abilities. It feels uncomfortable, it's frustrating, and it forces you to confront the reality of how much you still have to learn. Your brain naturally seeks the comfort of shallow work, the quick dopamine hits of email and social media, because it's easy. Shutting down the distraction monster. To engage in true hard work, you need a strict anti-distraction protocol. The science here is clear. Context switching is the enemy of quality effort. Every time you switch from a complex task to an email notification, your brain leaves behind an attention residue, making it harder to refocus. You lose time and lower the quality of your output. So how do you fix it? You need the 2-hour focus block. Isolate the task. Identify the single most valuable task you need to complete today, the one that will make the biggest difference. Go dark. Turn off every single notification on your phone and laptop. I mean, every one. Put your phone in another room or turn it to grayscale. Set the timer for 120 minutes. For those 2 hours, nothing else matters. You are not available to the world. You are fully dedicated to that one high-value task. If 2 hours feels too intense, start with the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break. But stack 4 of those together. Nothing matters more than defending that focused time. When you consistently put in this kind of high-quality, undistracted effort, you aren't just working harder. You are practicing deliberate practice, rapidly accelerating your learning and setting yourself apart from everyone else still stuck doing shallow work. But there is one final piece of the puzzle. Even if you master deep work, you still want your effort to matter to someone. That's where we move from the world doesn't care to finding the specific people who absolutely do.